Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to another Ancient Empires faction overview. I made a realization the other day that I kind of inadvertently been doing this, and so I'm going to switch things up a lot. For the most part, what I've been doing is I've been focusing on all of the eastern factions and not been going west. Now there are a few exceptions. I've done Carthage, I've done Rome, the Odrysian Kingdom I guess you could technically consider kind of western in terms of factions that I've been doing. And I've even done one of the Iberian factions, but it hasn't been consistent. And it seems like lately I've been really focusing on some Eastern factions. So while I know a lot of you are crying out for some Greek states, I know a lot of you are crying out for a whole bunch of other things, we are going to go to the opposite polar end of the world. And we are going to do the Iceni. So of course these are the British faction for the game. And they are very fun and very awesome faction to play with. I played with them a couple of times just playing by myself before I started doing these overviews. And so I'm very excited to show you to them today. Show them to you today. I'm slightly dyslexic and I'm not always best with words. But let's get right down into the units, and then of course we'll have our awesome battle. Alright, so we start out with the Briton Chieftain. This guy is pretty insane, and he is the base general that we start out with. He has a charge value of 6, which is pretty decent, melee offense of 14, melee defense of 15, armor value of 11, and a morale of 14, make him a very solid, heavy melee infantry unit. And now it says that we are capped at 3 per army, but actually the Briton Chieftains are nowhere in the roster. I don't know if they plan to update this in the future or not, but yeah, it's a little misleading. It's unfortunate because I'd like to have quite a few of these guys in my army. Same goes with the Briton Tribal Leader. It says it's capped, but there are no other units in sight. Now these guys are slightly better. They have a melee offense of 14, melee defense of 16, an armor value of 12, and a morale of 15. These guys are going to be even harder to rout, but they are going to be pretty sweet looking in battle. I just wish I could use these guys in my melee infantry units. Next up we have Briton Chariots. Now these guys are much like the Chariots for the Ptolemaic Kingdom, I believe. They aren't completely fleshed out yet, but they do look very, very nice. I do really much enjoy how they look in this mod, and so we will probably have a couple of units of those in battle as well. And then last but not least, Boudicca, Queen of the Iceni. This is someone we will definitely be using, just because it's Boudicca. Why not? She has an excellent morale, excellent charge value, but poor armor value. So a charge value of 10, which is pretty darn high. A melee offense of 17, and a melee defense of 16, which is absolutely huge. Her armor value is pretty poor at 5, but she has a morale rating of 16. Not only that, she can inspire her allies, which is actually just like one single troop. And then we will also have War Cry. I'm actually probably going to go... No, I'll keep it at War Cry. Alright. Down to Spear Infantry. We have Briton Bonded Levies. These guys are going to be your pretty poor Tier 1 infantry. They're actually not that bad, though, to be honest. They have a charge value of 3. Those not too bad for a Spear Infantry unit. They have a melee offense of 6, melee defense of 12, armor value of 5, and a morale value of 6. So that melee defense really isn't all that bad, considering that they're Tier 1 Spear Infantry. Moving up to Briton Militia Spearmen. These guys are just going to be a little better than their Levy counterparts. They're going to have an increase in just about everything but armor values. So an increase in melee offense, melee defense, and morale. Next, we have Briton Naked Freemen. These guys are pretty epic and pretty fun. They have a charge value of 6. Their melee offense is 13. Melee defense is 10, which is a pretty good combo for someone who has such low armor value. They're very similar to Boudicca. And then a morale rating of 10. Then last but not least, we have Briton Free Spears. These guys are going to kind of be in a sense, the elite units. They don't have as high melee offense as the Naked Freemen, but they do have double the armor value and just a little less morale, but they're still going to be a pretty heavy-duty Free Spear unit. Moving down to melee, we have Area of Recruitment Caledonian Swordsmen. These guys are actually pretty darn sweet. Charge value of 11, melee offense of 15, melee defense of 9, armor value of 4, and a morale of 12. These guys are going to be some hard hit units. I mean, you're going to want to charge them into the enemy. And so there'll be some pretty sweet little ambusher units, I would think. Britain Free Swords, they are actually pretty stinking good as well. Charge value of 4, melee offense of 10, melee defense of 13, armor value at 7, and morale at 8. Really not bad for your lowest grade melee infantry. We have Britain Heroes that are capped at 3 per army. Charge value of 5, melee offense of 19, melee defense of 15, armor value at 4, and morale at 16. And melee offense of 19, that's probably one of the highest that I've seen in the mod so far. So you're definitely going to want to use these guys if at all possible in the campaign. Druid War Bands, excuse me. These guys are just about as epic. They have a charge value of 7, melee offense of 17, melee defense of 9, armor value of 5, and a morale of 16. And these guys can actually inspire their allies in terms of giving them morale boost. Unfortunately, it's not an area of effect. It's a single unit boost, but nonetheless, they will be pretty good to use. Naked Fanatical Warriors. They have a lot of half-naked men, but that kind of makes sense because they're like uber barbarians, basically. Charge value of 8, melee offense of 16, melee defense of 14, armor value at 4, and a morale of 13. Make them a pretty stacked unit. And then we finally get to Britain War Bands in the early period. And then we'll have a Britain War Band in the late period. Charge value of 6, melee offense of 12, melee defense of 15, armor value at 10, and a morale at 11. Make them very solid, heavy-duty, heavy melee infantry, and then their counterparts are just a little more stacked in armor and morale value. Bringing it down to Slingers in the ranged units, we have Britain Slingers, and these are going to be a pretty standard setup for Slingers. High armor, high ammunition, ranged offense is not that heavy. Missile range is okay, it's not too bad. Charge value at 1 is very, very poor. Melee offense at 4 is poor. Melee defense at 9 is actually not too shabby. And then armor value at 5 and a morale at 5. Overall, not too bad. Britain Youths, these guys are going to be pretty cool. They have average ammunition, I guess you could say. A ranged offense of 9, which isn't that great, but is pretty typical of light skirmishers. Missile range of 70, charge value at 3, melee offense of 7, and melee defense of 10 is actually relatively high for a light skirmisher unit. Armor value at 5 and a morale at 8 is not going to be too shabby. Let's get down into melee cav. We have Britain Heavy Horse. These guys have a charge value of 8, which is pretty good. Melee offense of 7, melee defense of 12, and armor value of 11, which is really good. And then a morale of 13, which is pretty high, especially for a heavy melee cav unit. And then, of course, we have our Britain Chariots, which don't have any stats, but we're still going to use them in battle because they're really cool. Skirmisher cav, we have Britain Horsemen. These guys are actually pretty darn good. And all in all, they actually have above average ammunition for a skirmisher cav. Ranged offense of 11, which is really high. These guys are going to pack a pretty big punch into whatever they're throwing into. Missile range of 80, which is also a standard of skirmisher cav. Charge value of 6. Melee offense of 7 and a melee defense of 11 is actually pretty high for a skirmisher cav unit. Armor value of 5 and a morale of 11. And then last but not least, we have Warhounds. These guys, Britain Dog Handlers. They're going to have a charge value of 4, melee offense of 9, melee defense of 11, armor value of 5, and a morale of 8. Alright guys, well you know the drill. I'll see you on the battlefield. Alright everybody, I have a very, very exciting battle for you guys. I know I say this like every single battle, but I'm really excited for this one, and I think it may be the most exciting one yet. So, we have a great and amazing Iceni ambush that's about to happen here. If you can see, there are a ton of hay bales that we are going to rain down on the Legionnaires. And yes, Legionnaires, we are fighting against the Romans in this battle. And yeah, I'm very excited for this. I may even split this into its own video, just this battle, depending on how it goes and depending on just a lot of things. But I think it would be a really fun, no one's really done kind of an ambush battle yet. So I thought, why not do it? It's a perfect setup. It's the Iceni versus the Romans. Let's take a look at the unit compositions and then we will get to it. First off, I'm going to let you note that I do heavily outnumber the Romans, and I know some of you are like, well, that's a guaranteed win, because it's not a guaranteed win. The Romans are absolutely massively strong troops, and so I put a whole 40 stack against what is essentially probably, I don't know, a 25-ish stack, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. So as you can see, we outnumber them 5,400 to 3,800, and I still could possibly lose the battle. So let's get right on into it. I have 4 units of Caledonian Swordsmen. All of them are manning some nasty looking hay bales. And so these guys are actually going to be really cool. I'm going to... Oh, they're Falksmen, essentially. I mean, they're not. Oh, wow, never mind. No, look at these. Look at these guys. Look at these amazing two-handed swords. Oh, snap. No wonder they're so deadly. Yeah, but anyways, we're going to put the hay bales down, and basically, as soon as those hay bales release, I'm going to charge straight into these legionnaires with these guys, and we'll see what kind of damage they can do. Next up, we have 3 sets of Britain heroes, and again, the same thing. I'm going to charge those hay bales down, and I'm not going to give them a chance to regroup and reform. I'm going to hit them as hard as I can. I have naked fanatics on the other side with some hay bales. It's not guaranteed that these hay bales are going to work properly, but we'll just see anyways. Hopefully they don't run into my own troops. And actually, I know that some of these hay bales will actually plow through the legionnaires and will actually hit my own troops. But it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. Now we have 5 units of Britain dog handlers. I'm going to charge all of these at the cav just to see if I can't rout these Allegorum or Reformed Heavy Auxiliary Melee cav and see if that works. We have Britain War Bands. Now these guys are going to be really, really good. They're all hiding, which is pretty awesome. A lot of these units can hide in scrub and forests, and so they will definitely be some good ambush troops. So I have 2 over there, and I have 3 over here. Next up, we have the Druid War Band. These guys, I'm going to use them as a rear charge because it seems like they can pretty much do really well towards the rear of the battle. Hopefully kind of trap these guys in. And these guys are actually really sweet. They do have the mixed female and male units, which is a really cool thing and is pretty representative of the Britons anyways. So we have 3 units of those guys wrapping up the tail end over here. Next up, we have Britain Free Spears. I'm going to use these guys as kind of a counterpart in case my Britain Heroes and Naked Fanatics and Caledonian Swordsmen fail, because it is very, very likely that they will fail just because the Romans are seriously that ridiculous. So I have 5 units of those. Yeah, 5 units, and I have some as reinforcements, basically. So hopefully we won't need them, but if we do, then they will be back there. We have 5 units of Britain Heavy Horse. These guys are all hiding in the shadows as well of the forest. They look really, really cool, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do. And they're again going to kind of rear charge into here. I didn't want to just put them here because that wouldn't be too accurate, I guess. I know I have these guys just sitting out in the open, but I really wanted to kind of get that ambush style and see if I couldn't charge in and take them out. Up high in the trees above, way away from the battle, we have 2 sets of Britain Chariots, and these dudes do look really, really cool. They're kind of in an unfortunate spot where I can't show them off super well, but they do look very well done. Just reminds me of Rome 1, man. I used Britain Chariots. I used the Chariots a lot in Rome 1, and they were a lot of fun. So anyways, the idea is we're going to get engaged in the battle. Hopefully these legionnaires will split, and there will be a lot of chance in the middle here to do some hammer and anviling. We have some Britain horsemen. Again, the same thing. We're going to wait till the battle's engaged, and then I'm actually going to bring these guys around and see if we can't do some work from behind. All about the behind stuff. Naked Fanatic Warriors. Again, once these War Hounds charge, I'm really going to try and get my Naked Fanatics in, see if we can't just really push them into here and make them rout quickly. Because if they don't rout quickly, we will be in some major trouble. And then last but not least, we have Boudicca. I think this is where she is. Hiding in a bush. Hiding in a bush. Oh, that's deadly. She's scary. She is majorly scary. Boudicca ain't got time for your crap. She's already plotting her revenge against the Romans. Yeah, get some good portrait shots of her. Some nice little epic smoldering glare right there. Dear Lord. She looks pissed. Anyways, so, again, we are heavily outnumbering them, but you will understand once you see the battle. I mean, we literally could still lose, even though we have, what, 1,600 more troops than they do? Yeah. So, I'm very excited to play this battle, and I'm very excited to show it off to you. So let's go ahead and get to it. We're just going to do this real quick while we're paused, so I can really get some good cinematic shots in. Every one of you guys will go after those. And then there, and then last but not least, we got these guys over here. Okay, you guys ready for this? Because I am ready for this. Let's actually turn the graphic image overlay moddy thing on, because that will give us some pretty sweet looking fireball shots. Oh my word, I'm so excited. Alright, well let's go ahead and hit slow-mo. And they're going to light these things and send them rolling down the hills. See, I didn't know guarantee. There's no guarantee where these guys were going to go. Again, no guarantee where these guys were going to go. They're going to hit our own troops. No. Let's get out of there. But these are rolling down. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Plowing through the troops, and then that's it. That's all I have to do because I really need to get into the micro. Come on, screenshot, go away. Hit into them. They are completely disarrayed. As you can see, they do have that chance of hitting our own troops. And they've already routed some of my other troops. Warhounds, you get in here. Same with these guys. Wow, they just completely took out my naked fanatical warriors. I expected at least a little more resistance from these guys, but nope. None whatsoever. We are going to have to go ahead and engage our other troops. And then we're going to start hammer and anviling. Take them out, boys. Take them out. Wow, they just literally wiped out. Yeah, they just wiped out like 600 of my troops in that initial charge. There's going to be some lag. We do have quite a few units in this battle. And now we're going to start to bring these guys in. I actually want to open it up so you guys actually come over here. Oh my word, I'm limited in where I can put these troops at. You guys come down here. You guys actually come over here as well. Man, they're just routing our troops like nothing else. Those warhounds, though, doing some work. Kill them, boys. Kill them. Britain spears, they are routing. Dang it, man. Like I said, I mean, we've already lost 1,000 troops, and they've maybe lost 200. Maybe lost 200. Wrecked. Oh, well, here we go. That'll help right from the beginning. Let's see if we can't kill their general. We're going to go after their archers. Charge, boys, charge. Let's see if we can't get some good cinematics into here. I'm actually going to slow down the camera. Oh my word. Come on, Caledonian Swordsmen. Oh wow, that was a nice block with the double-handed sword. Still getting wrecked. Still getting wrecked. Don't rout, guys. Don't rout. But do you see what I mean? Like, this is not going our way at all. Let's get these guys lined up here. I'm actually going to get these guys lined up over here. And we're going to do the same with our cav. Plunge into the backs here. Plunge into the backs here. And then we're going to get our other unit of cav to come over here. Generals routed from the battle. And let's go ahead and hit play again. Charge into here, boys. Naked Fanatical Warriors, we need all the help you can give us. There we go. Get back. We are losing this main column. Shoot them in the back. Let's really get into here. See, I don't get why you're routing. Why are you routing, son? Druid Warriors, they made it through. We're just going to charge these guys because they're about to rout anyways. And then we've got some other troops that we can set up around here. Support the main column. Holy cow, this is insane. You're actually going to go melee. I don't want you to hit those guys like that. You're going to go melee and you're going to hit these guys in the back. We're just trying to make sure that we can kill a whole bunch of people. That's all I care about. Hitting those guys in the back or in the front is not going to help us. Hit those cohorts in the back. We need to get a couple of guys coming over here. Getting after those guys. We have some naked fanatics left. Oh wow, they're routing our Caledonian Swordsmen like crazy. Boudicca, it's time for you to get engaged into the battle. There we go, spears. Rout, spears. Unit of Chariots has died. Those Caledonian free spears, man, they are just not doing work. Yeah, these Romans, man, they are just routing us like crazy. I'm trying to get some good cinematic shots in, but it's just hard because I have to micro so bad. Sweet, so we've routed those guys. Boudicca, get down into here. Our ambush is not really turning into an ambush. Here we go. Let's do some slow-mo here. There's not really doing a whole bunch of maneuvers at the moment. Good Lord. Never underestimate Romans, ever. Because they will absolutely wreck you. Come back to the battle, guys. And then let's rout these guys. Because it's not even guaranteed that you're going to win by hitting them in the back. Usually that's a pretty good morale standard, is to just hit them in the back. But you're never guaranteed right now, not fighting against Romans, that that's going to work. Do I have any more units around here? I don't. Okay. They just don't route for anything. And those guys are going to rout. There go my chariots. You guys just rest up. You guys don't completely rout, please. Boudicca can't really go anywhere else. We're just going to let you rest up. These guys are very tired. There we go. We finally routed those guys. Let's hit these troops in the back. It's not really guaranteed to do much. It still says, I mean, that we're gonna win this, but I still don't know, to be 100% honest. Come over here. Get out of the battle. Get out of the battle. You need to reform up. Those guys still could come back, but it's highly unlikely. We need to get some more melee troops into the backs of these other troops. But I don't really see that happening very well either. Let's hit these guys. If we can get the Germanica legions to rout, then I think we'll do a good thing. Goodness gracious. We are losing. We are losing because we are not routing enough of these Romans for it to matter right now. I could have picked some more brightly colored legions, though. That's for sure. These Germanican legions aren't exactly the prettiest of troops. Ah! Charge into them. Yep, there go a couple of my melee cav. Sweet, we're routing that Germanica route. Oh, here we go. Here we go. That was not an easy battle, guys. That was not an easy battle at all. One last unit. What is this? Augusta cohorts. Set up. Set up. We've got Boudicca over here. She's going to do some debuffs. Our men have rallied. Oh, at the very, very end, you stayed. Good for you. There we go. The last unit has routed. Or is routing. Let's get a nice little charge from behind. There we go. Amazing. In the battle, decisive victory. That was still a little iffy, guys. I mean, it says we only lost 1,500, but we had so many units that actually routed. I was very concerned that we weren't going to do it. And that's why you always have to be super, super prepared to fight, to very much outnumber the Romans, because, I mean, you saw how many of my troops routed before they even really got a whole lot of kills. And so, I mean, look, these guys right off the bat, Naked Fanatical Warriors, yep, they just straight up, they just routed without getting hit. These Britain war bands, they didn't really get a whole lot of kills either, so wow, but that was a fun ambush battle, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Be on the lookout for another Ancient Empires video. I will just start scattering everywhere. I'm going to go all different regions and corners of the earth, and there won't be really any continuity to it because I feel it's too standard, too rigid, and it's not really fun enough because you guys are kind of expecting what the next faction is, because I kind of was going from east to west. So I am uploading this as a separate video, so if you are watching this and you're like, what the heck are you talking about, dude? I have an Ancient Empires faction overview playlist. Go see it, and you'll see this battle at the end of it too. But other than that, guys, this is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!